Everyone, welcome to the show. So Trump and his MAGA cult are just desperate to stop Kamala Harris and her momentum. How desperate are they? So glad you asked. Um, Trump is so terrified of running against Harris, he filed a complaint with the Federal Election Commission demanding that they prevent her from taking over Joe Biden's campaign funds. The complaint falsely says, quote, Kamala Harris is seeking to perpetrate a $91.5 million heist of Joe Biden's leftover campaign cash, a brazen money grab that would constitute the single largest excessive contribution and biggest violation in the history of the Federal Election Campaign Act. This is very unlikely to go anywhere. We'll see. I mean, it's not a heist. Her name was on the ticket. That is one of the benefits of going with her as the candidate as opposed to someone else. So she is completely and legally entitled to that money. In the meantime, though, Trump's minions in Congress are also just melting down. They are trying to stop her in any way they can. Yet, a couple days ago, I don't remember if it was yesterday or the day before, but it was announced that MAGA Republicans filed articles of impeachment against Kamala Harris. So they're trying to blame her. Number one, they're saying, oh, she failed to secure the southern border. You guys may have heard they keep calling her the border czar. That is hysterical, number one, given the fact that Republicans, at Donald Trump's direction, by the way, refused to pass that bipartisan bill that would have secured the border. That's in them. That fell 100% on them, and they refused to do it. Also, that was not Kamala's job. That was not Kamala Harris's job. She was tasked, from what I understand, from what I have heard, with trying to work with foreign governments to try to fix the messes in their countries so that their residents wouldn't be forced to flee to the U.S., or they would prefer to stay in their home country. Obviously, that is a very heavy lift, right? You can't just walk into other countries and make everything perfect there so that their residents are like, oh, I love it here. Why would I ever leave? There's no crime. There's, no threat of gang violence. I mean, I'll just stay. Not something you can do, wave a wand and make it happen overnight. And Republicans are also accusing Harris of knowing that Joe Biden is, quote, cognitively impaired and not invoking the 25th Amendment. Again, pretty laughable, not something they're going to be able to prove because clearly, I mean, is he 100%? Is he the same Joe Biden from, even a couple years back? No, I mean, he is aged and it's showing, obviously. It showed in his debate performance when he froze and everything. But is he cognitively impaired to the point that he can't do his job? No, all you have to do is go and listen to him, watch some of his speeches, his campaign rallies, and you can see. I mean, it seems like, there are some issues there, but not enough that the man is like completely out of it and needs the 25th Amendment. So Republican Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, he must recognize this is a no-win situation for his party because he has asked his members to stop talking about Harris. He flat out told them, stop talking about her being the president or running for president. I don't want you doing that. They're not listening. And then he announced yesterday, I think it was, that today, Thursday, July 25th, would be the last day of votes in the month of July. So he said, the House is going to stand in recess until September. I believe that starts August 1st. So we're not taking any more votes. So, well, what do you know? Can't do the whole impeachment thing. Oh, darn. So that desperate move isn't going to work. And they have good reason to be freaking out because, like I've mentioned, Harris broke previous fundraising records. Over the past few days, she has broken all-time records. She just received another windfall, by the way. Netflix co-founder Reed Hastings, he is a very wealthy man. He was one of the people who was pushing for Biden to drop out, and he was withholding funds because he just didn't see it as a winning ticket with Biden at the top. So he just announced, or it was just announced in the news, that he's now donating $7 million to a Harris-related super PAC. So this is reportedly the largest donation that he has ever made to a single candidate. That also followed some other positive news and good news from a poll. So there was a Reuters Ipsos poll which showed Harris leading Trump by 2 points, so 44 to 42%. Now that is within the margin of error, but Biden was behind by 2 points in that same poll just about a week ago. So we have now a 4-point swing in just a week. And when voters were given a third option, when they were given also Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to choose from, Harris widened her lead. So with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. in the mix, she scored 42% and Trump dropped down to 38%. And in that same poll, 56% of voters said that Harris is mentally sharp and able to deal with challenges, whereas only 49% said the same about Trump, which I'm shocked it's even that high. I mean, Ruby-dooby-doo. Biden's going to start World War II. I mean, the guy is out of his mind. Anyway, there was another poll. There was an NPR Marist poll, college poll, that showed Harris with 45%. Trump was at 46%. So down by 1, but again, within the margin of error. And Harris is pulling in a different group of voters. So what they're showing in these polls is she is pulling in voters that had backed away from Biden. She is polling better than Biden now with non-college graduates, non-white voters, and voters under 35. Unfortunately, Biden was and is still doing better with independents, college graduates, and voters over 35. And I say unfortunately because those groups tend to be more reliable voters. They tend to show up every single election cycle, whereas the other groups are like hit and miss. So, the big thing is really getting people to the polls, getting Harris supporters to show up, on election day or send in their ballots, whatever the case may be. And given our participation trophy system, that's what I call it, the electoral college system, we need to see some swing state polls. To really understand what is going on, that's what we need. There was a Georgia poll, which Georgia is now officially a swing state. A Georgia poll was just released, and it looked pretty promising. A pollster called Landmark Communications surveyed 400 likely voters. And this, again, is in Georgia. Harris scored 47% of the vote, and Trump came in at 48%. In this one, though, when voters were given the third option of RFK Jr., Trump took more of the vote. So 46% to Trump, Harris dropped down to only 44%. Don't know why, for some reason, I guess the people there, more of them would go for RFK Jr. than Harris. Now, I'm hoping that with time, that'll shift. And I think a lot of these polls are really early. I think that, we need to get a little ways out because, believe it or not, there are probably still some people who don't know that Joe Biden has dropped out. I mean, that seems bizarre to all of us because we all pay attention to politics every day, every second. But there's a lot of people out there who are just trying to live their lives, just trying to work their job, take care of their kids, put a roof over their head, put food on the table, cooking and cleaning when they get home from work, doing their second job, taking care of the kids and taking care of their spouse. So, this has to get out there, and then people have to get to know Harris. Some people don't even know anything about her. One thing that has become very clear is that Harris is doing better with Black voters Democrats, of course, and then independent voters. Those seem to be pretty solid. Now, I know I said, Biden was doing better with independent voters, but when it comes to Trump versus Harris, she is doing better with independent voters. And then, like I said, these are early. These are bound to change. There was also a report today saying that Trump is losing his edge with Black voters. He had pulled some Black voters away from Biden. A lot of them are going back to Harris. So that is something that I saw in the focus groups that I recently watched too, is that some Black voters were just saying, look, I don't like Trump. I don't want to vote for him, but Biden just looks like he's on death's door. The man can't, string a full sentence together. He loses his thought. I'm worried about him. I'm worried that, he's not up to the challenge and he's got the nuclear codes and blah, blah, blah. So they were reluctantly going back to Trump if they were swing voters, or they were going to give Trump a chance because they looked at it like, I don't know what else to do. Some of them were going to go third party. So it looks like some of those Black voters who were just kind of, at a loss, didn't know what to do, they are migrating back to Harris. So, and this is going to be a historic election. Regardless. I mean, just the fact that Biden dropped out, Trump got shot, and, now you have a Black Asian woman running for office, the highest office in the land. I mean, this is historic. Like I said the other day, we are living through it. So we're the lucky ones, I guess. Anyway, I'll let you know when I hear more. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.